see if this is working again. Are we back? I think we're back. Apologies.
He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man!
A wolf tattoo. And that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
What? Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool-ass trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
And who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character? Which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope! There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
I got it!
You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
exactly so.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm...
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place
Somewhere between 10 o'clock.
No, that's
No, it
wrong.
didn't. Simple as. Incorrect. Okay.
Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words!
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean by denying the sprinkler? Are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why!
He's absolutely nuts. Alright, here we go.
I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on!
should prove it.
Wait, that's the first bullet time battle I've done without failing.
Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
I'm so sick of her.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because... while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever, which is why I can't let that happen.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game, and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be? By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting...
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body,
Of course it didn't get dirty!
No, that's wrong. Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
Huh?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
The one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
Oh, scum. No, but she told him to take it. That's ridiculous. I hate that. I hate this trial. I hate this
The
trial.
knife we gave to Makoto?
I hate this trial so much.
You don't seem surprised. You must... Then why did you...
It's not that I hid it.
Suspicious! The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we... It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that knife, that seals it. Just because I had the knife, that automatic? Well,
Getting stabbed is what...
no, that's wrong. Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her!
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that.
Then the knife...
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, Kinda goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic-level spontaneous combustion!
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment...
Hang on 1 second, I need to put your check something. Oh wait, I got it.
You know, I I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural. Because, of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
No, I actually need to check. There is something.
Then?
It only came up with one file, so I'm assuming that I need to do a... hold on, that one.
Shall we continue the debate?
The victim's fatal...
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
Yeah, countless wounds. I wonder.
Then shall we continue the debate?
Oh, I absolutely wonder.
The victim's fatal injury
Has yet to be determined.
Oh, go.
No, that's wrong. Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh! I bet it was the pickaxe!
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
Oh my
No
god.
thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
Ready?
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
Fucking titanium.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
An arrow? That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure?
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
The titanium arrow. It was in
the dojo lock.
I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, It said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Oh,
Talking
for
back
God's
to
sake, I missed
Master,
it.
you have no right!
I know exactly what that was.
The titanium, it was in the dough. I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound...
Well, it said the weapon must have been about...
It seems like an arrow would...
No, that's wrong. You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably uses duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Were you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? Surely you don't intend... You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that...
Because
It was... in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't...
hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. There's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just... protecting you.
What?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
Freaking dorky. Can't be her. She didn't do anything. She didn't kill anyone.
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from...
There's proof that you aren't...
Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid
The evidence of my... and then
Left the locker key in my own room.
correct, but could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke.
What do you mean?
Exactly what I'm not the killer.
You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof
That you aren't the...
No, that's wrong. If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
Huh? Why not?
Because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room...
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room keys, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
It would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
Crucial question. Crucial. Like her. Why? Let it go. Right. She said that she had Monokuma's secret tool that opened every room in the school. Would that not include the dorm rooms? Which is a lie. It's a contradicting lie. Is that not a lie? Did she not have a key that would let her into all the rooms? Because, you know, it makes kind of sense. There you go. There's a lie. Crucial choice. Let it go.
Well, have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't...
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
I made no mistakes. That entire one. Get me a trophy, please, please, please. please, 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 please.
Now, who will be chosen as the Blackened? Hey, hold on! What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Sorry.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Hey! Shing! Thrills, chills, kills!
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Alter ego.
What?
Huh? What's this? What's going on? What's that? Yeah, it has to be.
This
Here
is...
we go. Here we go. Let's do it by this stupid guy. Get on the network. Why the hell? I don't
It
believe
would
this.
seem...
Finally, very true. Oh, you're probably the very beginning.
What the heck?
In other
I
words,
think you shouldn't have underestimated us.
Hmm.
Only one. Things on a thing, just pinch an itch. Stupid virus has gone now, got it? It says Makoto. Ready, it smashes flat, you never see him again. Making that garbage from the pit. In a way, it's even better. That is special punishment. Still not satisfied. I think it's with the rest of you, and especially the entire world. Gone? Hey, Kira, what's the meaning of this? What's going on?
calm down.
Okay, we're not the only ones being trapped this time. Huh?
In other
No,
words,
no, it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you...
About? You'll
so...
understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. Massive high school towers over all the buildings in the bustling urban area. That school stands at the centre of the entire world. Hope's Peak Academy brings top students from every field imaginable, a government-funded school of privilege. So if you come and manage to graduate, you're set for life. For hundreds of years of tradition, it sends the cream of the crop to the workforce every year. Built to raise hope in the nation's future, it's Hope's Peak, a pretty fitting name. There are two things you need to attend the school. One, you have to be already attending high school. Two, you need to be very best at what you do. No ordinary student can enroll here. The only way is to be scouted by the school itself. And standing there at the gate, the ultimate school for the ultimate students was me. What? Where am I? I'll go ahead resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. Wouldn't be weird for me to zonk off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but I was doing a sleep here just now. Wasn't in the classroom I've been in before. What the heck is going on? Finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again. And then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench made in my nostrils far too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But what was just the beginning of my problems? Was I going to be stuck in there until I wasted and died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after my good friend went through to save me. I remember all too well what had happened. Alter Ego saved me. He used the last all of his strength to do it. I can't give up now. For myself, for my friend. With that, my pursuit of survival began. First, I started looking for a way out of here. It's locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled and kicked it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here wasn't going to be easy. I'm not getting out of here anytime soon. I decided to look around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. That was pointless too. Let's search some water. How can I fish a liquid drink from some all-round bad idea? Again, pointless. It's like I'm being blocked on all sides. It's still not a reason to give up because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. I've made that proud declaration. The next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. My only way to preserve what little strength I had left, knowing how to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had passed. All I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I'm waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, proof of the sky wasn't a sign. What exactly? What the? These are my silent isolation, jarring me awake. I was about to trestle and form an odd shape. Did you just fall down here? It fell from above. What could have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? Maybe they jumped around a little bit for a home down there with garbage. I knew who it was.
It smells awful.
Please, so Kyoko.
Indeed.
Are you doing better than I expected? What are you doing here?
So...
I'm not here to help you. Glad to hear that, Kyoko. A little bit garbage in your hair. She had a quick shot shake to get rid of the trash and face me again. I thought that was something for you. Go ahead and eat. We'll talk once you're finished. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way towards my stomach. I really hit the spot. I really I need to keep going. Just haven't given up then. Of course not. After all, the fact I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at. Well, it's not such a bad thing to be good at. No, Oscar, what the fuck is going on? Kyoko, why did you come rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt, or no, to atone.
You...
During trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that, you didn't abandon me. Not exactly why did I abandon you in order to save my own life. Trying to save me, and I couldn't put myself to do the same for you.
However...
Listen, not that I'm trying to make up excuses, but there's a reason I had to survive, no matter the cost. Why did I survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I had to survive.
In other words...
So I can do what I came to school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to OSP for a very important reason. It's a reason to come to OSP.
Indeed.
That's right, at least I did. Once. Once? Till recently I've forgotten what it was. You forgot, but that... I had no memory of what my purpose was. You know, it's impossible. Then, is it really true you lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us when we arrived at the school? The first thing? You're talking about what we invaded, right? I fainted and I woke up and I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too. When I woke up, no strange feeling, separation within myself, disconnect.
It would seem...
About it now, at the point my memory was gone. Time I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to the school. I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. There is a massive bug in here. Hang on.
Hey.
Let me continue. Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems way too convenient. Too much too convenient. You're saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think I'm positive it was the last one. They stole my memory. Why would they want to do that? It's the one reason I come out with. My purpose, my ability. Somehow they would interfere with my plans. I can't just stole them from me.
However...
It could also mean my memories may be connected to mystery at the school and the masterminds. Which is why I have to get them back. I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. If you say, what you say is true, why don't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
I did that and we all worked as one. The mastermind went straight away. Plus, first chance the mastermind was actually one of us. What?
Correct.
I don't make too much of a deal with it, it's just a possibility. Since it is a possibility, you can't ignore it, right? Mastermind, one of us. If she believed that, then of course she wouldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it doesn't make sense she would look into a missing memory by herself.
However...
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because among everyone, you were least likely to be mastermind. Just intuition, but... You see, intuition was right though. There's no way in order to give me... Let me be the mastermind.
I should...
Understand everything.
My goal isn't to get out of here.
Oh, it's this again.
It's to stay here.
Yeah. Dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
Listen.
You okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I've never asked you to help the right way, so I'm saying you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think it's just a personality. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So...
There's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was able to recall my purpose and my ability. You mentioned your ability. My ability was what everyone should know me for, the ultimate detective.
Correct.
And the reason I came here to be Academy, I still had to find a school.
So...
Well, the headmaster had to be Academy. Headmaster? I want to find a headmaster. Because he's my father. What?
In other words...
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad is Hope's Peak's headmaster. Then that explains. When Alter Ego told us he thought the headmaster was involved.
No matter what?
So,
My memory hasn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. Makes sense.
However...
Listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said that based on what I'd seen from stuck inside Master's room. Then, what did you see in there?
So...
The room had been ransacked, the shelves were a mess, the gesture was dumped to the floor. Any conclusions that someone who didn't know anything that was had been hit in there? You mean the head mastermind, right?
It's true.
My assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I investigate the second floor of the dorm for the key I found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. Kind of map?
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found the headmaster along with the Maguro's profile and that key. The map shows the second floor is home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. And I figured the headmaster was in some kind of private room there. I assumed if that were true, the room would most likely hold more clues, so let's check.
Correct.
So I finally remembered. I remembered my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So then let's see the headmaster who did have.
However,
once I got there, I realized the section for the doors didn't have any cameras or warnings. So what was it like part of the school? It's hard to describe. All I can say is when I saw it, I realized whatever's going on at school more horrific than we imagined. What do you mean?
so...
I can't explain it. You need to see for yourself. I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important. And really ominous.
However...
Of course, I wasn't going to think there's no cameras, no monitors. Which is why I had no idea what was going on.
However...
To be ever clear, I didn't kill her. I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right. But that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi to know who did kill her.
Anyway...
I can say for sure as the mastermind directly involved. To begin with, the point of Flash Album Kiryu Kusaba was to get me killed. Killed?
Indeed.
I saw that Keen disappeared. In retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
It was the point in the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. Minimal restrictions, you were free to explore Host Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words...
The mastermind's adamant about following the rules. With that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. Sound like mastermind themselves are bound by school regulations.
Hey.
One other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mikuru Kusaba is that the point of Mikuru may not become the victim. Could have been you, Mikuru.
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? During the night,
I
can hear them, you know, because there's a god death. When there's a god death as it moves. It goes and actually draws into cases.
Anyway.
That's exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorm, so I had some sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell, saw a white shadow across this corridor. I made a face right away, and I followed it until the shadow got into your room.
Correct.
I went to your room and saw what was happening. I went to me immediately, of course.
However...
I mean, of course. I stopped them, that led to... whoever the last signal was, they're dead.
Correct.
And their murder was disguised, and Dojo Key found up in my room. I had to go up from last one and attempt to use the glass right in the
Indeed.
Right? I don't have any conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. That's pretty bad if it's true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want and feel like it. Wait, doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the glass trial to try and kill you because they would interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right. That is a contradiction. And not just Mikura. They needed the glass trial to kill me. But you seem to kill you in your way. Everything they did is a contradiction. So it was on me.
In other words...
The mastermind is the one in the corner. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. Just a little more to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. The other ultimate despair? There's no doubt Mikura is the ultimate despair. She's dead. I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not.
Indeed.
Think about it, the ultimate despair seems to indicate whoever killed you. Talking
That's
about
right.
the Haven era, biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Tragedy, whoever responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair.
It would seem...
whose only purpose was raising from despair.
Indeed.
Make no mistakes. They're the root of all evil that was forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. That is our real enemy. See, nothing changed. That's something you need to really take into account. Nothing changed with the timer. Well, not timer, the amount of people that were dead. Nothing changed. Now, keep that in mind for the next chapter. Because that's a pretty big one. That's quite a big one to go by. So yeah. It's final chapter next, so whenever you're ready, I'll bring it in.